Hey everyone, Tech Guy here. Welcome back to the channel. As someone who does a lot of gaming, I wanted to share with you my top 5 essentials for my gaming setup. I found it quite difficult to narrow it down to just 5 things, but I believe these 5 are integral to my setup and I honestly don't think I could live without them now. I will have links in the video description for all of the tech featured in this video. So without any further delay, let's jump straight in with the main part of the setup, the monitor. No gaming setup is complete without a good display, and my setup sports the Alienware AW2723DW gaming monitor. It has a 27-inch 1440p IPS display, which gives it a PPI or pixels per inch of 109. It also has a 280Hz refresh rate. It has 2 HDMI ports, although these are not HDMI 2.1, but I do have both of my Xbox Series X and PS5 connected for my console gaming, and I run both of these at an output of 1440p and 120Hz. I have the DisplayPort connected to my gaming PC, where the monitor can really stretch its legs, hitting those much higher frame rates with the help of FSR and modern frame generation technologies. The 280Hz refresh rate is genuinely mind-blowing. Granted, my modest PC can't reach these frame rates in AAA games, but playing older titles at 280Hz is truly a sight to behold. The monitor feels really responsive and produces great picture quality, even if the black levels aren't comparable to that of an OLED display. I should also mention that although this monitor does support HDR, its performance does leave a lot to be desired, and I find it best to just turn HDR off when using this monitor. If you are someone who requires good HDR performance from their monitor, then I would suggest perhaps looking at an OLED panel instead, although these will be quite a bit more expensive. Overall, I really like this monitor as it does everything I need for both my console and PC gaming needs. I hope to one day upgrade to an OLED panel myself, but for now, this monitor works perfectly for me. My next essential bit of tech in my setup is my PlayStation 5. Although I think this generation of console gaming has been underwhelming overall, I have to pick the PS5 over the Xbox Series X as my favourite console of this generation. My PS5 is used mostly for single player titles, as well as any PlayStation exclusives. Everything from the blazing fast SSD to the DualSense controller help make the PS5 my go-to for console gaming. Some of my personal highlights games-wise from the PS5 library are Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Spider-Man 2, and the remaster of one of my all-time favourite games with the release of the Uncharted Legacy of Thieves collection back in 2022. Many of these titles are now on PC as well, so if you don't have a PlayStation 5 but have a gaming PC instead, I highly recommend checking out these games. I am aware that there are many more titles available on the PS5, but those were some of my favourites. I was initially tempted by the PS5 Pro when it was first revealed. However, I think if you have a gaming PC like I have, the price of the PS5 Pro was too high for what seems like a pretty small upgrade over the base PS5, and I don't think it is on the same level as a higher end gaming PC. Coming away from the gaming side of things for a second, if you're anything like me, then sometimes you like to listen to music whilst playing a more casual game or whilst getting work done. And although I have a dedicated gaming headset for both my Xbox Series X and PS5, my go-to headphones for music are still my trusty Sony WH-1000X-M2s. I have these in the Mark II version, so yes, I am aware that they are a lot older, but they are still to this date the best headphones I've ever used. I remember using these for the first time, and it totally changed the way I listen to my music. The sound quality is phenomenal, and the active noise cancellation is superb at blocking any external sounds, so I can enjoy my music to the fullest. These are still going strong, but I definitely plan on upgrading to the Mark IVs or Mark Vs if anything were to happen to these. A great pair of headphones that I simply couldn't live without in my setup. As these are a bit older, I have links to both the XM4s and XM5s in the video description. Coming back to gaming, and I feel it is right for me to include controller on this list. My pick is the GameSir G7 SE controller for Xbox and PC. I've had this controller for quite a while, having gone through many official Xbox controllers over the years that all failed with eventual stick drift. Which brings me to the main reason for choosing this controller, the Hall Effect thumbsticks. For those of you that are not aware, the basic description of Hall Effect joysticks is that they use a magnetic field and are more accurate and durable than the potentiometric thumbsticks used on the likes of the PS5's DualSense and official Microsoft Xbox Series X controllers. GameSir G7 SE also features Hall effect triggers, programmable buttons on the back, which can be disabled with the flick of this switch, and is all round a well-built controller. I use this mostly for Warzone and Rainbow Six Siege via my Xbox Series X, but I also use it for driving games and other controller-based games via my Windows 11 PC. The biggest downside in my opinion is that this is a wired controller, but if like me, you're sat in close proximity to the desk or where your Xbox and PC is, and this is pretty much a non-issue. GameSir do have wireless offerings in their controller lineup. These are usually, however, just for PC, and as you can imagine, they're a little bit more expensive than this one. For use with the Xbox Series X and Windows PC, I would highly recommend this controller. So to finish my top 5 list of 5 essential tech, I thought I'd include my gaming PC. I first got into PC gaming in 2020, when the COVID-19 pandemic first hit, as a hobby to keep me busy whilst not working. I was totally new to it, as previously my gaming was always done on consoles. The sheer versatility and huge catalogue of games is what kept me prioritising my PC over console gaming in recent years. My current rig has an AMD Radeon RX 6950 XT and a Ryzen 5700X 3D processor at its core, along with 16GB of RAM and plenty of storage for all of my games. This is all housed in a Corsair 4000D Airflow case. I find myself always coming back to playing the latest titles on PC instead of console, as in most cases, the games themselves are both cheaper in my region and run much better overall, at higher resolutions and frame rates. This is not always the case, however, and PC ports aren't always superior to their console counterparts. Examples like Star Wars Jedi Survivor and The Last of Us Part 1 on launch. Of course, these games can get better over time, but they don't make the best first impression when launching in such rough states. My favourite genre of game to play on PC is first-person shooters, be it more recent titles like Black Ops 6 and Robocop Rogue City, or even older titles like Blood Fresh Supply, or Doom's 2016 reboot and sequel Doom Eternal. I find these games work much better with a mouse and keyboard setup compared to using a controller. If you were on the fence about getting into PC gaming, I would highly recommend it due to the sheer amount of configurations that cater to every budget. So that concludes my list of 5 bits of tech essential to my gaming setup. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please feel free to like and subscribe to the channel if you're interested in this kind of content. I would also love to hear from you in the comments about any tech from your setup that you can't live without. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you on the next video. Cheers!